From the Scottish Highlands to the coasts of Wales, I am called by many names. Good Sir James, father of Archibald the Grim, son of Sir William the Bold. But all those who come to face me on the fields of war will die whilst staring into my eyes. Then there will be nothing but the blackness of the unknown. Black Douglas, they call me, bane of all England. The Englishmen terrorized our countrymen while riding north, leading seas of blood and all manners of horror behind them. I will terrorize them back south until the merry lot of them lie drowned in the English Channel. So it was on an evening in which myself and my men found ourselves camped outside Jedburgh. We were having ourselves a good time, songs and drinks, laughs and brawls, and my blood ran thicker than the rest of the boys, so as they drank themselves to sleep, one smaller skinny man out another, I soon found myself alone at the campfire. It was then that the crone approached me, asking for Sir James. The crone was a Villama. She had 3 sons, 3 soldiers. The first 2 had allowed themselves to be pierced and slaughtered by the English archers, and if such wasn't bad enough, her 3rd son had offed his own self with an English arrow, no less, a beacon of cowardice, no more fit for the Highlands than he would be for the bonny meadows of Gaul. I was right fit to tell her that her bloodied sons were no soldiers of mine, when she reached into her satchel and handed me 3 brown arrows, dried blood from tips to their nocks. 3 arrows, each one having befallen one of her babes. The nerve of this woman, to toss 3 arrows to my feet and ask me to avenge her boys. I tried telling her I did, that I wouldn't be caught dead using a bow and bloody arrow. The longbow is meant for small men with smaller minds, frail in stature, with bones like that of a songbird. I was a man of the axe in my best days, a man of the short sword when I found myself down with the flu, but she'd hear none of it. She'd looked for the finest warrior in all of Scotland, and she'd found him. With a cold and unkind whisper, she told me she'd see me once more on the feast of St. James to take her arrows back. And with that, she turned tail and left, leaving me muddled and irritable. Well, I'd always prided myself on my empty quiver, but in the time after the crown, it was tainted. 3 reeking arrows where there should have been none. I suffered the indignity for a time, if not only to give her a piece of my gathered mind should I have ever seen her again, but in the time being we waged hellish war on the cruel and prideful, battle after battle, duel after duel. Tales of my accolades spread far across the English Isle. The Danes came to know my name. Stories of my ferocity kept Gaul children awake past midnight. All those who sought to challenge me and my army were met with the full might of the Northmen. All the while, as I broke my axes and swords over and over again, my quiver held the trio tight and secure. I was waiting for the crone, the Villama, to return. The feast of St. James was a good night for the good men in our midst. They drank themselves till they were jolly and bloated before turning in. I hadn't a drop that evening. Once more I was alone at the fire, and once more she approached me. She asked me if I'd avenged her sons, and I stood to face her. No, I told her, I hadn't avenged the rotting bones of her beloved. In mere months of my campaign, I buried my dagger in Thomas de Rickman's stomach, slit the throat of Edmund de Caen, and cleaved the snivelling, whining head of Sir Ralph Neville. But never, in the countless battles of the year previous, had I even thought about shooting one of her precious arrows. She should have been quaking by that point, but her smile was coy, and had taunted me so. I was fit to throw the arrows at her feet and stomp them out affront her, but when I reached into the quiver to do so, something was off. I pulled out 3 arrows, yes, but each one broken in 2 pieces. She laughed at me, the crone, and she told me the nature of her son's death. Her first son was shot by Thomas de Rickmont, and her second by Edmund de Caen of Gaul. In the aftermath of a battle with Sir Neville of Berwick, their third son took a stray arrow from mud and thrusted it in his own stomach. The arrows had broken, she'd said, one by one as I slaughtered the 3 Englishmen. She'd placed a spell on the lot of them, and now, she said, she'd been properly revenged. With that she left me, fading into the woods once more. I tell you, children, I am not the most terrible thing lying dormant in the Highlands. There lives a witch in these woods, christening man and animal alike with all manner of curses and dark magics, with a hatred burning inside her for all Englishmen far greater than that burning of all the Scotsmen combined.